All right, welcome back, everyone. We have another very special episode. Today, we are joined by none other than a man himself, Jake Malasek. Jake, thank you for joining us today, man. How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for letting me come on.
Absolutely. I mean, Jake, big time inspiration. We're right in the heart of sports season, baby. You got March Madness. Of course, Jake working alongside Coach Jon Gruden. You got the QB classes fired up right now. You guys right in the middle of that? You just wrapped
Yeah,
that
right in
up,
the
or
middle. This is our break week, you could
nice?
say. So USF's on spring break right now, so we can't use their indoors. So we'll start up next week with our three final guys, and then they'll start coming out in April before the draft.
Dude, that's sweet. I mean, super exciting stuff. Jumping into a little bit about you, man. Virginia lacrosse background, am I right there? And then a lot of content creation. Were you always kind of into content creation? Was there something that happened maybe when you were in college that got you into it, or was this just always your path, man?
Yeah, no, I went to Trinity College my freshman year. I played lacrosse there, Division
Hmm.
three school, Hartford, Connecticut, and I was going to be an econ major and go work at a bank and kind of do that whole thing because that's what everybody else was doing. And I decided to transfer to UVA my second year and got there and realized that I hated econ and hated banking and
Yeah,
hated finance and didn't want to go to the McIntyre school and do all that businessy stuff. So I was like, you know what? Like, I got to figure out what I'm going to do with my life, and it's not going to be that. So that so happened to be the year that UVA was really, really good at everything athletic wise. So basketball won a national championship,
yeah.
football went 9-3, beat our rival for the first time in 15 years. The lacrosse team won a national championship. So things were really good, UVA sports wise, which kind of led me to just started to mess around and make some videos. Was kind of how
Hmm.
I got into this, and I did it just because I thought it was fun and cool. And I had some buddies, like my buddy Paul McDonald was a big videographer guy in high school, and I would kind of help out with his stuff here and there. But yeah, just sort of messed around sophomore year of college, started to pick up some steam online, and then my buddy at the time, Matt, who was a friend of mine through mutual friends or whatever, was running the Barstool UVA social
Hmm.
accounts, unbeknownst to me. So then he reached out to me in the spring of 20, what would that be, 19, and was like, "Hey, I run Barstool UVA. I saw you were making like UVA sports videos. Do you want to just do that for the Barstool accounts?" I said, "That sounds sick. So down."
Yep.
So I started doing that the spring of my sophomore year and did that till I graduated and then got the Barstool internship to go up to the NYC office at a college, and I've been there ever since.
Yeah, sweet. I mean, yeah, I know Mason, you were gonna ask a little bit about that, so I'll let you take that question about kind of the spot you're in now.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of work towards it. UVA, business, econ, not for everybody, not
Yeah.
for people
A
that
lot of work.
enjoy
It's a
a
lot
lot
of
of work,
work.
man, a lot of math, not not for everybody. But so you end up doing some stuff for Barstool UVA, great videos, great content. So how specifically did you go from that, being an intern at Barstool, to working with Gruden himself?
Yeah, so I guess when I got to Barstool, we were fully owned by Penn National Gaming.
Hmm.
That would have been what, a couple of years after the whole 100% purchase. So I got there, I started working on the gambling socials. So I was the video producer and the graphic designer for the gambling stuff. Like at the time it was Barstool Sportsbook, now it's Barstool Gambling, but I did that for the first three and change years of my Barstool career. And I was in New York for 2 years. And then when we opened up the Chicago office, I moved out there. And honestly, the Gruden thing came about because we hired him, what, October of not this past year, but the year
Yeah.
before. And I kind of got a call from Gaz and Jack McCarthy, who was my boss at the time. And they were like, "Hey, like, do you want to just do the Gruden stuff remote from Chicago for a little bit just to help out?" And I was kind of honestly pissed about it. I was like, like, just sounds like extra work that I don't really want
Right,
to do.
right.
Yeah.
Because, like, I tell people this all the time. Like, we've hired people like Gruden before, or at least I thought so at the time. Of like, we hired, Deion Sanders was around for a little
Right,
bit, guys
right.
like that, where big name, lot going on, busy guy, not their first career choice by any means,
Right.
and they're kind of here and there. They pop into stuff, but they're not really full time every day doing content at Barstool. So I
Right.
was like, I'll get the occasional Gruden thing, and it'll just be another thing I have to deal with. So I called Gruden the week after they did that. I think I got Thursday. They asked me to do this, so I called him on a Monday, and he was so fired up to do this. Had like 40 ideas, and I was like, "Oh, that sounds like a full-time job that I don't have time for." So I
Right.
went to the guys that Gaz and Jack, and we're like, "Hey, like I'm gonna have to really take some time off of my real job to do this new job." And they were like, that's fine, whatever. Gruden's a big brand, so just deal with that. So I did that for about a month or so in Chicago, and then I got a call from Austin, who's like Dave's right hand man, and he was like,
Okay.
"Hey, can you make me a poster, like one of those Uncle Sam pointing 'We want you'
Little
posters."
propaganda.
Make
Yeah.
Gruden,
Yeah.
yeah, Gruden's face, and say, "We want you," and we're gonna hire for Gruden's team down in Tampa full time. I said, "No problem." Made the thing, sent it over, and I texted him. I go, "Hey, out of curiosity, by the way, like, what are you hiring for down there?" And they're like, well, we're gonna kind of just like find a guy that's doing what you're doing, but just like down there. And I was like, well, I'm down to move to Tampa.
Yeah, right. Of
You were in
course.
Chicago. I was like, I'm down to go to Florida. He was like, oh, well, that would make my life way easier if you would just do that. So
Yeah.
I ended up just moving down there at the new year of 20, going into 25. So I've been down here
Okay.
since January of 2025 and don't regret it. It's been a
No
really fun ride,
complaints.
having a
No,
lot of
definitely no
fun doing some
complaints.
cool stuff. So I'm glad I did that, but that's kind of how we got linked up that way.
Right,
Yeah, I
man. That's
mean,
awesome.
yeah, that's fascinating because I didn't even think about because I always just assume like first impression you get a call like, hey, you want to work with Jon Gruden, like you'd be fired up. But that is a good point. Like I've seen plenty of those type of faces kind of cycle through,
Right.
and just kind of not really their thing. You already kind of answered this, but what was your first impression of Gruden? Maybe when you moved down there and kind of when you knew like. This is, obviously football is Jon Gruden's thing. I think everybody knows that, but I mean, he's pretty damn good at what he does now. He's a very entertaining personality. What was your kind of, first impression as well as maybe the time you knew like, okay, maybe this isn't just a guy here as a quick pit stop, but like he really enjoys doing this right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's really two answers to that question. Like, one, I really didn't realize how much TV and like media he'd actually already done. Like, I didn't realize, obviously, I knew he was on Monday Night Football, but like, I didn't
Yeah.
know that he did that for 9 years and was like the
Mhm.
Right.
highest paid TV personality like ever at the time. So he clearly has a lot of practice doing this stuff in the first place. And he obviously did the QB camp shows back at ESPN, and
Mhm.
he's been around the media space for quite some time. But really, when I got to Tampa and like we barely knew each other and like we really had no plan of what we were gonna do. And I kind of walked in on him one day at like 7:45 or 8 a.m. at the office, and he was sitting in his little room that he sits in all day and just ripping through cameos. And I kind of looked at him and I was like, huh. And he's like, yeah, I've been here since 4 in the morning doing this. And he's just banging out cameos. I was like, oh, so we're gonna have no problem figuring out what to do because you have a motor like I've never. Like this guy
Yeah.
is unbelievable, just workhorse when it comes to just like, all right, I guess we got to do this, so I'm just gonna do it. And no, like
Yeah.
I've worked with guys that are like brand new to Barstool or that they've been doing this for like a couple of years, and they're just pains in the ass sometimes about getting stuff done. This
Yeah.
guy's been doing this for 40. He's coached. He won a Super Bowl in the NFL, and he's like, yeah, whatever
Yeah.
you need, no problem,
Right.
got it.
Yeah.
Let's bang it out.
Yeah.
So. I think the cameos for 4 in the morning before I was even awake was kind of a good little indicator that things
Could
were going to
tell.
be pretty all right down
We're
here in
rolling.
Tampa.
We're rolling from that
Yeah.
moment.
Oh, yeah.
Cool, man. So clearly, I mean, that was a story, great cameo story. Do you have a story that, like, when somebody asks how your work with Gruden is going, and they're like, "What's he like as a person?" Like, what's a story that you could tell us about, like, who he is as a regular guy?
Yeah, I mean, I think it definitely varies. What he's taught me very well is like if somebody is interested in you, be interested in them. I think is a very fascinating way to look at life, and definitely not something I was doing before, or at as much as I should have been. But like when we opened up the St. Louis Blues box. And that was, I guess, like, because I'm a hockey fan. I grew up playing hockey. I never played football in my life. So I know the playoffs were going on, and the Blues were down 2-zip to the Jets, and we got all these boxes in the back. And I pulled out the Blues box, like, hey, like the season's gonna end for these guys in 2 games. Like, we might as well open this now before it's over.
Right.
So we opened up the box, and the Blues won the next 2 games, and they go and they beat, or they lost to Winnipeg in Game 5. So it's Game 6. They have to win. Yada yada. We got a call from the Blues guys, and they were like, hey, we want you to come to the Game 6 and do all this stuff, yada yada yada. And I'm kind of thinking on the phone, like, there's no way that this guy is gonna want to fly to St. Louis
No.
and go to a hockey game. He doesn't
Yeah.
care about hockey at all. And he kind of looks at me and is like, that sounds kind of fun. We could do that. And I was like, all right. So I set that up. And then I get a call like the day after from the guys at the Cardinals because everybody obviously knows everybody. And they heard
Right.
that John is coming to this Blues games. They're like, hey, how about the day after you guys stay? And then he can throw out the first pitch and come to the Cardinals game the following day. And I'm
Wow.
like, dude, like this guy definitely is gonna want to get out of there and have just like no interest in this, whatever. So he's like, yeah, I would love to. That sounds awesome. So like, anytime there's something going on, I have to be the bad guy because he immediately is down to do anything. So we've
Right.
had
Next thing you know,
times
you're
where he
staying in
said
St.
yes
Louis
to
for a
something.
week.
Right. He has said yes to something over and over and over again because he's interested and wants to learn new stuff and wants to meet new people. And then I have to go back if we can't do it and be like, hey, actually, there's a scheduling conflict, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But like he's never said no. He's never been like I don't want to do this. It's always like that sounds interesting. They want me there. I'm gonna try my best to be there. It's really kind of changed how I view life, which is pretty cool. But
Yeah.
like he's the most positive, like interested in people person I've ever met.
Sweet, man. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that checks out, and I can also verify as a proud cameo Jon Gruden purchasee, if
Producer.
that's a word. Dude, you're getting the full Jon Gruden package. That dude, you couldn't tell
They're
he's
like
been up
4 minutes.
since 4. He's
It's
oh, he's
crazy.
gone. Dude, he
Yeah.
named 30 NFL players who maybe played a total of 100 snaps in the league in like
Nuts.
in 4 minutes, dude. It was incredible. Now, now another one about you. So this one, our boy Frank Caliendo, which I think, best Gruden impression of all time. I saw a clip last week of you getting a prank call from Frank impersonating himself as Gruden. I gotta ask, did the heart drop right there? Did you think that was Gruden
So
right there?
what's funny is I already had Frank's number saved, so I knew it was Frank.
Ooh.
And also, like, I knew right off the bat, obviously, that it was Frank, but even if I hadn't, Gruden would never come in that aggressive on a phone call. He's always such a
Yeah,
happy guy on the phone. So that right off the bat, Frank's got to work on his tonality because that's
yeah,
not normal how he would call me. But no, Frank came to the office like what 6 months ago. We did a couple things with him. He's awesome. Went to his show. Very funny. I remember Frank Caliendo back in the day when he was on like Letterman doing George Bush.
Hmm.
I've
yeah.
known him for a long time. I
Right.
remember watching him in Hard Knocks. He was an awesome guy in that. But big fan of his. I'm glad I got to meet him.
Yeah, that's sweet. Definitely, I saw that clip, and obviously now we know, Gruden's, an upbeat guy. The cliche football coach has got that kind of, that
Yeah.
mean aggressiveness to him. So I was wondering, when I
He's
saw
a
that
big
clip,
he's a big softy behind the scenes, so
yeah,
he would never call me like that
yeah, I
aggressive.
was, I was worried for you. I saw that clip, and I was like, I can't imagine the hard drop in there. But I know, Mason's got another question for you about the last 2 years of the QB class. So Mason, go ahead, man.
Yeah, with the QB class going on, you obviously seen the last 2 years. You've seen a lot of great prospects. Is there anybody specifically, if you're able to talk about it, like, is there anybody that's like, damn, like he's got it, like that you've
Yeah,
seen so far?
I mean, we got 3 more guys coming in, and then we've done what 9 total in the past year and a half, 2 years. I still think my favorite, or not my favorite, but like the guy that really wowed me was Will Howard. I was shocked that he went in the 6th round. I thought he was
Yeah,
everything you're looking for and more in a quarterback. And obviously, like I don't know if people know this, but he was our first guy ever, at least for me. Like I know
yeah,
Gruden, 70 of these by now. But he came in, he was my first one that I was producing for. And I met him and we did the whole show and kind of spent the day with him. And I was like, all right, cool. Like, that's just what college quarterbacks are like. That's what guys going to the NFL are like. Like, that's how people are. And then I met the rest of the guys and I was like, damn, like, all of them are obviously great. But I
right,
just thought there was a little bit of extra something to Will Howard. I couldn't believe that he went where he went. Like, Dart obviously was awesome and
right.
deservedly so went in the 1st round. But like I didn't see a drop from the first to a sixth from Dart to Will Howard. I
Yeah,
thought Will
Right.
Howard was the personality you want, the intensity you want, the memory, the brain, the arm, the body, everything about him I loved. All 6 guys last year were fantastic. They were really, really fun to work with. I still talk to Quinn Ewers a ton, still talk to Kyle McCord a ton. Got to see Will Howard up at the Pitt Notre Dame game. Seth Hennigan I stay in touch with a lot, and Riley Leonard obviously I talked to a good amount. And then this year, all 3 guys have been phenomenal. We just did
Yeah,
Tapia, Beck, and Ty Simpson. And those have all been awesome shows. I think we've kind of reworked the setup where it'll look a lot better and easier to watch. And I think it'll be a
nice.
little more visually appealing this year than last year, now that I kind of know what I'm
Yeah.
doing.
okay.
And then we got 3 more guys coming in, 2 next week and the one the week after. And then we're off to the races on the back end, editing wise. But yeah, I love Will Howard to death, to be honest. I would
Yeah.
trade everything I needed to get him. I loved him
Yeah.
like you wouldn't believe. And I tell people that I go, he was unbelievable. I couldn't
Yeah.
believe the Browns didn't take him in the 3rd round. They took Gabriel instead.
Right.
Couldn't
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
like that was where I thought I was like, oh, okay, cool. They're gonna take a quarterback here. This is gonna be Will Howard. Like they got the
Yeah.
Ohio State national champ,
Right.
6'5", 230. Like this is and they didn't take him. And I was like, well,
Right.
that's why
Yeah.
they're the
Not
Browns.
a lot of unchecked boxes with him.
Yeah.
He blew me away.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. When you take a step back and not necessarily from a football lens, is there anything you've picked up, whether it's character, whether it's even just on the whiteboard, is there a specific trait that all of these quarterbacks seem to have? Because whether they're taken in the first round or the seventh round or undrafted, these are all accomplished quarterbacks at a really high level in college. Is there a specific intangible that you've noticed, whether it's character, smarts, whatever? Is there something that you've picked up on as you've sat in with all these high level guys?
Yeah, it's a great question. And honestly, it's fascinating because I was just thinking about this the other day. And like everybody is so different. And obviously you get, heights and weights and yada yada.
Right.
Like personality wise, all these kids are so wildly different.
Hmm.
And you wouldn't think that's necessarily the case because obviously they're all doing the exact same job.
Yeah.
But like the one thing they really all share in common is like their ability to talk to like people they don't know or have never met. Like there's no awkwardness. There's no like,
Yeah.
you know, you meet 12 new people at a place that you've never been to. And obviously, like that can be a little weird. And I've been at parties where I'm the only person that I know.
Hmm.
And I'm
Right.
like, I'm
Yeah.
not going to go mingle because I don't know any
Right.
of these guys.
Yeah.
But like they walk in and it's like you've known them for a decade. They're
Yeah.
so good at just making everybody feel comfortable and everybody wants to obviously they know who they are, but like you've never talked to the guy a day in your life. So the
Right.
ability
Right.
for these guys to kind of walk into a room and immediately be like personable and charismatic and talk to everybody like they've known him forever, like that is something that I have taken away as like, oh, like that's why they are the CEO of their program. Because
Right.
they
Right.
can kind of whatever group like that. There's no time that they need to sort of adjust to their surroundings. They can kind of just hit the ground running, meet people, and go.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that checks out. That's awesome here, and I think there's kind of that almost comes through like the lens when you're watching. I mean, whether it's the QB class or those interviews, like you can tell like they're just personable people. Like they're good at like having a conversation, and they don't give off the vibes of like oh, I'm an NFL quarterback. Like you can't talk to me. I definitely get that vibe through the camera. So that's cool to hear. So yeah,
Yeah, and
Um,
they really
oh,
are like super pumped to be there, which is
yeah.
awesome for us. Like they like obviously they grew up kind of watching the ESPN versions of the shows, and I
Hmm.
think now that like we've done 1 year of Barstool, the kids this year have seen the ones from last year. Like everybody was like, I saw the dark clip, I thought it was hilarious of the snap count,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah.
like
right.
everyone's got a little taste of like the show, but
Hmm.
like the behind the scenes stuff of this show, Gruden basically goes through every single play this kid's ever made and
Yeah.
puts together a reel of 750 clips of this kid's life.
Yeah.
And 90% of it doesn't make the final cut. So like these kids get to come in and get a 4 hour film session with this guy that they've looked up to for however many years they've been watching football.
Mhm.
It's a very cool experience for them. I'm very jealous that I don't get to do it myself, to be honest.
Yeah.
Right.
Obviously, watching it's super cool, but like being them and having somebody really take the time and break down the good and the bad of what you've done throughout your 3, 4, 5 years in college has got to be one of the coolest things they'll ever get to do.
Yeah.
So talking about Gruden breaking down X's and O's in film, would you be able to put into words like the gap between, okay, so you've got like Gruden, who's, legendary
Yeah.
coach.
Peak.
And then you've got like, the college coaches, you've got the high school coaches, and then you've got the guys who think they know what's going on in their couch during the game. How big is the gap between like even Gruden and like a good college coach in terms of like the ability to just break down ball?
When you say good college coach, like what's your metric
Um,
there?
I mean, we'll go say like Kyle Whittingham because I'm a Michigan fan. He's a great college coach, right?
Sure,
Great
yeah.
coach,
And
but
again, I've never met the guy, so I have no idea
right,
what his
right.
and I believe I could be wrong, but I think he's a defensive coach. Is that correct?
Yes,
Kyle
yeah,
Whittingham? Yeah. So like their skill sets are completely different right off the
right,
bat. So like Gruden is an offensive guy. Like he can obviously draw up a defense if he needs to, but his expertise is going to be on the offensive side of the ball. So that's a
right,
completely separate right brain, left brain type of deal. I kind of think that what sets Gruden apart may not be the not obviously the knowledge is he's up here in terms of that, but like the ability to sort of get your point across and have everybody understand what you're talking about, I think is what makes him a level above a lot of guys. Not saying that he knows more,
right,
but like he could teach me history in the way that and I would understand it. Like I've had teachers
right,
before that obviously know the same amount as other teachers, but they package it in a way that is way more digestible and easy to remember than other
right.
people do. So I think that's what makes him so awesome. Like we had Vontez Burfict come in to our office like right when I first started, and we filmed like an hour long thing on, some defense stuff. And Vontez wanted to get into coaching. I think he's coaching at UNLV right now for the linebackers. But like watching him on the whiteboard try to explain a defense, I had no idea what he was talking about.
Right.
And then I watched Gruden explain an offense, and I could tell you exactly what he just did and do it for you.
Yeah.
So I
Gotcha.
think it's just the way that he's able to communicate stuff is
Yeah.
so well done and so well thought out and so well practiced. Like
Right.
I'm loving all of the offense that we're installing and everything because like he is just such a good communicator. So I
Yeah.
think that really what puts good coaches into the great category. I bet you
Yep.
Kirk Smart's the same way. I bet you probably Lane Kiffin on offense is the same
Oh
way.
yeah.
Guys that are like really into offense and like elevated coaches are very, very good teachers more so than they know more than anybody else.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it because, like, again, not taking away from Kyle Whittingham or Vontaze
Yeah.
or
No. No.
anything. Like,
No.
I think it just kind of showcases how good of a leader and a communicator. I kind of went through the same thing. I played for Mike Zordich at Central Michigan. He played in the league a long time, and it's kind of the same thing. Like, I've been with guys who know as much as him, but his ability to like just convey it in. Not it's not even necessarily a positive versus negative thing, but in just a clear lens. Like I think you can definitely, I mean, obviously everyone can see it's why everyone kind of gravitates toward Gruden like that. Like you can just tell that he's such a good communicator. I think that's the best way of putting it. Like he's so
And
thorough and
I have
clear.
a take as well. I think the better a player you were, the harder it is to coach because I think that you kind of look at things through a way of like, well, why can't you just do the thing
Yeah,
that I do?
yeah,
Because I could do it. Why
right.
can't you?
Right.
And Gruden, not to knock on him, but like wasn't the greatest quarterback in the world, right? He was the backup at Dayton in college. So like
Yeah,
he doesn't have that Tom Brady, like moron. Like, why can't you
right.
just throw
Right.
it all over? Like you don't see that, idiot.
Yeah,
Like if I was Tom Brady, I would never be able to coach because I would
yeah,
look at the
No.
guy and be like, you more like, why didn't you do the obvious right thing
Right.
that I would have done, right? So I think Gruden's definitely learned over his 30-ish years of doing this how to really sort of put it into terms that like even I can understand. Like I could drop a
yeah.
4-3 defense right now because he's explaining it to me in a way that like, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, man. So, I mean, just a couple things as we wrap it up here. If you could go back to right when you started content creation, because I imagine not only me and Mason are in a similar spot where the early steps. Like, what would you tell maybe not even tell yourself, but give advice you'd give to yourself or someone in that spot. Just going forward, especially when you're starting off. Whether you're not getting the exact results you wanted or you're not in the spot that you wanted. What is something that you like to tell people or something that you tell yourself that you think could benefit guys like us or people in a similar spot?
Yeah, I mean, I think when I first started out, I was a little bit worried about like how things are being perceived online. And I think that like as I've gotten older, and I still struggle with this honestly today, but like nobody really is gonna remember what you're up to be
Yeah.
honest. Like I'm guilty of this too. Like I'll see something that's cool or not cool, and I'll see it and I'll watch it or not watch it. I'll scroll right by it. I'll forget it happened 3 seconds
Yeah.
later, and I'll go on to the
Right.
next thing. Like, I think people are so caught up in themselves of like, oh my God, everyone's gonna see this and either think it's bad or lame or whatever. Like, if you are just starting out, you're not allowed to be picky on what you put out there. Like, I think
Right.
volume at first is very important. A lot of the times when we're hiring people at Barstool, like I'm looking for consistency over quality a lot of the time. So if you're only making three things and they're pretty good, or if you made three things a day for a year and then, let's say 50% are bad, I'm probably going to pick the guy that did three things a day over the guy that did three things all year. So
Yeah.
I think consistency and kind of just throwing stuff at the wall is important and not really worrying about like, oh, this didn't, get X amount of views, so I got to take it down or I got to, not post the next thing because it was whatever. Like that's sort of
Yeah.
big thing for me. And then I also think that like you got to try some new stuff. Like it's so different than when I first started, and when I first started, it was so different than 5 years before that. And like things
Right.
move so fast that like you got to sort of try and find something that hasn't really been done. And I know that's really tough to kind of say, and it's a lot easier to say than do. But
Yeah.
like when I was starting out, like I didn't know what was cool or not cool. I just kind of did stuff that I thought was good, right? And I
Yeah.
wasn't trying.
Right.
I would see stuff online and I would try and copy it and make it a little different and make it a little bit better and see what I could do to like make things more interesting. And obviously over the years things have sort of improved in my space. But like you got to try and find a way to differentiate yourself, and it's not the same. Like I love the TikTok edits, but they're all kind of the same deal. So then when
Yeah.
I see one that's different, I'm like, oh shit, that was pretty sweet. Like
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't know that was a thing or that was possible. So if you could
Yeah.
find a way to sort of, make it unique, make it your own, try something new, even if it sucks, like try a new thing after that. But like
Yeah.
having new, innovative brand, like it should wow somebody. You're like, oh, I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
Versus like, oh, this is technically correct, but like I've seen this 1,000 times. I think you're way
Right.
better off trying something new and it's sucking than doing everything the same way everyone else is doing it and it being the exact same.
Yeah, yeah, that's great advice. Me and Mason have definitely, faced a couple of those things you said. Like we've had our influx of 18-year-olds we know, stumble across our stuff. So I mean, that's great advice. And, if Mason doesn't have anything else, my last question for you would be uh March Madness bracket. I gotta know who we got on top of the dance. Assuming you've already gotten down to it, who we got at the top of the college basketball world
I
this year.
mean, I got Virginia beating Duke in the final. It's hard to beat a team 3 times. I say it all
I
the
like it.
time. I like our draw though. I like Virginia's draw a lot. I think if we can get
Yes.
past weekend one, Iowa State, Michigan's not the hardest draw in the world out of
Right.
the 1, 2 seeds. So I like the draw. I think I have Arizona on the other side of ours in the Final Four, and then I got Duke, and I believe I can double check this right now. Let me see who my fourth team in the Final Four is here. But
I
yeah, I got
mean,
Virginia. I want Duke in the final too. I know they probably won't get there because
No
that's how
running.
Duke
No
is.
running.
But I would like to see. I would like to get my get back on the
yeah,
Duke Blue Devils. I got
yeah.
Duke. I got Florida. So I get all 3 1s, and then
There you
Virginia
go.
beating. Uh, Virginia's going to beat Michigan in the Elite Eight to make it to the Final Four, and then we're going to beat Duke in the championship.
I mean, you
100.
already just lost two guys in here. You just knocked off with Duke beating MSU and Virginia beating Michigan there. You
Yep.
lost to two guys in here, but
Listen, I
now
hope I'm
that's good
wrong.
stuff.
Hope I'm wrong.
You're
There you
painting
go.
up a rough week for us. You're painting up a
I
rough
hope
week
I'm
for
wrong.
us.
But listen, obviously, I think Virginia's got a pretty good team and brand new starting five, first year head coach. Like,
There's a
it
lot to be
seems to be
excited
where
about.
college basketball is moving nowadays. So you never
Yeah.
know.
Yep.
I was glad they got a 3 seed. I thought they deserved it over a 4. I
Yeah.
expected a 4. I was happy with a 3, and just a little pissed it's not in Tampa. It's in Philly.
Yeah, because you got your boy who's the five for the Cavaliers that had like 8 blocks there in the ACC
Yeah,
championship. Who's our boy
Ugana,
there? Dude,
On Yenso, my
dude,
guy.
what a
He's a
stud,
beast.
man. Yeah,
No
he's
beast.
just he's throwing
Our
everything back.
our
So
22-year-old freshman, Tice DeRitter, that's my guy
There
too.
we
So
yeah,
go.
there you go.
That's
That's
college ball
college
right now.
basketball. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, absolutely.
if that's not
So,
college basketball to a T, I don't know.
dude, sums it up
Before
100%.
I go, I gotta hear a little bit about this show and what you got. Like, what's the deal here? I gotta hear about how this started a little bit.
Yeah, so Mason,
Um,
you want to take
so
it?
yeah, so we both went to the same high school years apart. I graduated in 2020. I started coaching baseball right away at the same high school and coached Ben as a freshman and
Oh,
coached him for
nice.
2 years, coaching for football for three. And he ended up going to CMU. And I'm out of the coaching now, moved over to Detroit. So reached out. He came over for a Pistons game and started talking about it. And
Yeah.
yeah, we're here.
It was the old, two bros going to the bar together and thinking like,
We gotta get
dude,
pod,
there's a
dude.
space for us. Like the idea was like we feel like there's so many like sports shows, whether it's just trying to be either controversial or like cliche or just trying to make like a take that goes viral. Like the thing I really envisioned that I talked to Mason about, like, I don't know if you're familiar with Shane Gillis and Matt McCusker, but their podcast, like how it's just so like laid back, like you're just sitting in with two dudes just like talking about, random shit. Like that's what I kind of envision. I feel like there's not really a space for that. Or I feel like there is a space for that where it's like, it's like going to a sports bar and just kind of sitting down and whether it's talking sports or just talking about anything in general, like I felt like there was a space for just, you know, not tooting our own horn, but like two likable personalities to just talk sports without trying to like say, this is why the Cleveland Cavaliers are the best team in the NBA,
Yeah, right.
So, it was just kind of that thing. We went to a bar tonight. We're like, dude, we got to make it happen. So once we
Yeah,
got through the stage of everyone we know kind of finding it and just kind of accepting the fact that like they'll scroll at it for 2 seconds and say, hey, this is dumb or this is sweet. Once we kind of got past that and got the ball rolling, I think it's been great. Like just reaching out to people like yourself and just, talking to people with interesting backgrounds or interesting stories. Like that in itself is cool, whether this gets 2 views or, 300,000. Like just getting on and talking every week and talking to new people and hearing new stories, I think is just beneficial in itself. So, I think that was kind of our whole idea when putting this thing together. So
Yeah, no, and you can't get to 300,000 views before getting to two. So,
exactly, right.
Exactly.
that way. How long you guys been doing this?
I
It's
think around two
been,
months.
yeah,
I
two
think it's
months, I think.
episode eight or
What
nine.
number
So
episode am I? I'm an early and I got Apple stock at 50
Dude,
cents.
you
Is that how
got,
we're
dude,
absolutely,
this
dude,
is
you're in early.
crypto.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
You're
I
in
think
early.
Great.
I think this is nine. I don't know if you're familiar. Well, this is he doesn't have the best backstory with Barstool, but Chris Castellani was on
Yep,
last
yep.
week. If you know that
He's a
personality,
Detroit.
yeah, big
Yeah.
time
Yep.
Detroit guy. And we've got uh, who
Got
else
Darren
did we?
McCarty,
Darren McCarty,
um,
former Red Wing.
Red
Yep.
Nice.
Wing.
Yeah.
Zach
What a big
Zenner is on
goal
the
against the
books.
Flyers. I
Yeah.
remember that.
Big goal.
Yeah,
Big
dude.
goal.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Detroit Lions running back,
That's puck
legend
knowledge.
Zach
Hey, look what
Zenner.
I'm wearing right here. Look at this. Got my
oh,
Ooh,
are you
Detroit.
let's
kidding me,
go.
dude? We needed that flip around the whole time. That's amazing.
I forgot I was
There you
wearing
go.
that, to be honest. All
That's
my
sweet.
closet is now is just free college gear from all of our boxes.
I
So
mean, that's my
That's what
dream
I've been
club.
90%.
wondering.
So
That's a
I walked
question I
down the
was gonna
street.
have.
Yeah, I walked down the street once and I'm wearing a North Texas hat. I'm wearing a Miami, Florida sweatshirt. I'm wearing Texas football shorts and I'm wearing Wisconsin football shoes. And
Dude.
this guy, I'm walking my dog, I got my headphones in, and this guy's walking towards me, like to pass me. And he kind of gives me like a point and like, and then his face dropped. And I was like, I put my head, I was like, what's up? He's like, well, I was gonna say nice game last night, but I have no idea who we're rooting for. And I was like, yeah, like, I didn't go to any of these schools. It's all good, man. Like, don't worry about it. It's a long
Yeah.
story. Yeah, my
Yeah,
closet sag a little bit with how much stuff I bring home from those
beautiful.
boxes.
that's a
Beautiful.
great perk because I was always wondering that. Like, there is just gotta be an immense amount of just college clothing stacked up in
It's
that
nuts.
office.
And like we have an office, our office is like 5 or 6 guys that come in daily,
Yeah.
and I'm the only other guy that wears an XL.
Yeah. There you
Oh
Everybody
go.
else
man,
is too small. So I'm like, oh, this is perfect. Like I wear
struck gold.
his like shirt size. So I literally can just grab 1 or 2 things from each box and bring it home, and I just wear it. Well, that's
Damn.
all I wear now is free college stuff.
I mean, that's the
Damn.
life, dude. That is the life. Just like
Sick.
living the dream. So, well,
What's
Jake,
the
man,
hold
go
on,
ahead.
what's the etiquette on going to CMU but wearing the Michigan State shirt? What's going on with that?
So here's the thing. Grew up Sparty through and through,
Okay.
right? And so just how the cards unfolded, went to Central, but the green and white, it never left me. So
So when CMU and Michigan State play each other in something, who you rooting for?
I go Sparty, man. I
I
have
don't
to.
like that. I don't
I
like that
have
at
to,
all.
dude. I
I
have
don't
to,
like that at
man.
all.
I
I have a
mean,
buddy, Tim Kalinowski, who works for Snapback Sports.
yeah,
Um, I went to high school with him. He's one of my best friends in the world. And he grew up a massive Clemson fan. Like his
yeah,
mom played there. All he like when we were in high school and Clemson beat Alabama in the national championship. Like I watched him collapse on the floor crying because he was
yeah.
so happy that Clemson finally did it. Yada yada yada. Fast forward a couple of years, he goes to Syracuse, and I'm thinking like, all right, cool. Now you have like a thing that you can actually like care about and root for. He's like, no, I root against Syracuse every time they play Clemson. I'm like, what?
Ah,
What's the point? Just go to Clemson at that point. Like, what's
yeah,
the point?
right,
You
right.
know what I mean? It can't be that much harder to get
Yeah.
into Clemson than it is to get into Syracuse.
No.
Well, here's the difference for me. Like, I didn't have the skill level to go to Michigan State, so that's my excuse. Is like
Oh, did
I
you
didn't
play
have a
sports?
choice. Are you talking to Mason or me?
Did you
I
play? I'm saying you played at CMU.
Yeah, I played football for a season at Central, so
Okay,
it's not like I was really rooted in there.
then
So
I will give you more of a pass on
so I got a
that.
little grace.
All right, then
Yeah.
that I'll give you a little more grace on because Tim went and played hockey at Syracuse, but like it's club. He could definitely still root for.
Right.
So that's where I'll
Football.
agree with you. That's where I agree with you. If we're
Right,
if
like
we're
it's
like
not like you
choosing,
went there on a scholarship by any
yeah,
means,
Right, right.
I get
But
that. Okay.
yeah, I've never understood that. And then you went to Michigan, Mason?
Absolutely not. No, I'm what they call a Walmart Wolverine. I hear that probably once a week. No, I went to community college and I hated it, so
Yeah, fair enough.
not
Well,
doing college
honestly,
anymore.
you have more reason to root for Michigan than Ben does for Michigan State. You went
Right,
to
grew up. I said Denard
he plays on
Robinson is
national
actually
TV once a
sick.
week. Makes me sick.
Yeah, no, Shoelace got me into being a Michigan fan. Denard Robinson was he
Oh,
was a
nice.
selling
Yeah.
point for me.
Yeah, so if you're questioning the legitimacy of this podcast, dude, we wear colleges we didn't go to. It's just what we do, man.
Pretty much all
So
fake.
yeah,
Yep.
everything you've seen, just yeah.
Episode 9, you've been exposed. I feel bad
Yeah, it
about
didn't
that.
take
Yeah,
long. Pod is
yeah,
over. Thanks,
yeah,
Jake.
yeah. If anyone's listening 35 minutes into this, I think they deserve to know like where our
Exactly.
ties are. So, I mean, that checks out. So, again, Jake, thank you for joining us, man. I mean, such a cool story just seeing, going from, college sports content creation to where you're at now. I mean, it's awesome, and you're a super personal guy. I mean, this is great, man. Thank you for coming on. So,
Absolutely. Happy to come on anytime you guys want.
awesome, man.
Absolutely
We really
appreciate it, man.
appreciate it.
We really appreciate it, Jake.
Yeah,
Well,
so we'll wrap it up. We'll let you get in that mindset for the last QB classes here, and then we'll see if that Virginia March Madness bracket. We'll see how long
yeah,
that holds up,
bookmark
dude.
this. Bookmark it. We'll see to Indy. Bookmark it.
Perfect. There you go. All right, Jake. We appreciate you, man.